Tri-Waco, the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce's annual Olympic and Sprint Distance Triathlon will begin at 6:30 a.m. on Sunday, July 9th at Indian Spring Park. Over 900 participants are expected for this event. The race starts with a point-to-point open water swim in the Brazos River, followed by a flat and fast bike ride on the spectator-friendly roads near the river, and finishes with a run along the Brazos River through Cameron Park, finishing on the famous suspension bridge. Tri-Waco will again include relay options, as well as the aqua bike races. Online registration is open through Friday, July 7th, 2023 at triwaco.org. The Tri-Waco Triathlon is presented by Bicycle World. Again, online registration is open through Friday, July 7th, 2023 at triwaco.org.
This podcast contains adult themes, sexual content, and strong language. If you can't handle that, you should probably leave.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
So what? Get off of the phone. Get off the phone. You really want to give this book your full attention, because if you don't,
is this a new book?
If you don't, you might get hoodwinked.
Oh no, let's not do that.
Wait, I thought we were doing that sci-fi.
I said fuck that shit.
You switched it.
I started rereading again, and I was like,
I've been prepping sci-fi jokes all week.
No, we'll get there. I'll do it next. It's just gonna be such a dry rub.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Bustles and Bangers with your hosts Rachel and Christopher Danger, and we have Kendra with us today.
Hey.
I'm so glad that you made it on. We were so sorry the last time you were supposed to be here. You were so sick.
I was sick.
We missed you.
Somebody put something in my tummy.
All right. Well, and that might happen in this book too. So anyway, this book that I'm going to read to you today is called Hoodwinked by Diana Palmer. Yeah. So it is I guess, I don't know what the D is for. Is the D for desire, or is it D silhouette desire? That's the type of book it is. So anyway, I am just going to,
I just want to look at it.
Well, I was going to say, I want to read the back of it to you.
That's got to be like their logo. That's weird.
You want to read the back of it? You never read anything.
No, I don't know how to read here.
All right. All right, here's the back of it. Who was Jake Edwards? I was going to say secretly, but it's secretary. Sorry, guys. We already had a shot before the show.
Uh-oh.
All right. Secretary Maureen Harris had to find out if this dynamic new plane mechanic was involved in sabotaging her company's jet designs. She'd need to get close to him, very close, but Maureen had always been too shy to get near any man, and Jake made her heart soar.
It's going to be another corporate espionage book. This is like the sixth one.
Workplace madness.
Much too high and fast. Before he met her, Jake had no time for women, but all seemed willing to use him. But this one was different, innocent, gentle, warm. His arms ached to hold her.
He's an airplane mechanic?
And soon,
Use
if
him
he
for
could
what?
just keep his secret a little longer, he'd be ready to show her exactly what kind of man Jake Edwards was.
I don't understand.
I wanted to read that to you because I feel like this book needs a little bit of that mystery to lead you up to the stuff.
Well, I'm lit up. Come on, Jake.
I want you to already have assumptions, like this book was full of me assuming shit the whole time. I was like, and I haven't gotten any total answers, but.
Well, let's get into it.
All right. So, chapter 1. Let me take 5 days to get to it. Hold on. Maureen Harris was already an hour late for work. One thing after another had conspired to ruin her morning. The washing machine in her small duplex in the suburbs had flooded. Her last pair of hose had run just as she put them on. Then she'd misplaced her car keys. She ran into the offices of McFaber Corporation, bare-legged with her long black hair threatening to come down from its braided bun on top of her head, her full skirt stained with coffee that she'd tried to substitute for breakfast in a drive-through place on the way. A tall, burly man was just coming around the corner as she turned it, coffee cup still in hand. All right, so what do you assume happens?
Well, she probably spilled coffee all over herself.
She sat up in the ruins of it all, quickly retrieving her wire-rimmed, trendy new glasses from the floor and sticking them on her nose so that she could see. She stared up blankly at the taciturn, very somber man in gray coveralls, her green eyes resigned. "I didn't pay my phone bill on time," she said, apropos of nothing. "The telephone company has its ways of getting even, you know, like, what?" This is the beginning of the book, y'all. I had to read this.
So she's late on her phone bill.
Okay.
She's running.
Slammed into him, and then the
Coffee all
first
over
thing
him.
she thinks to say is, "I didn't pay my phone bill." Everything's just going so wrong. Anyway, he's like looking at her all side-eyed. You know, she's thinking at this time that he wasn't handsome at all. Okay.
Another average fella.
Another.
Yeah, she need her bills paid.
It doesn't matter if you look good. No, yeah. So he looked more like a wrestler than a mechanic, she says. But anyway, so she's feeling him out.
Wait,
you know.
what kind of wrestler?
Yeah,
Like-
Nacho Libre.
Compliment.
Like Macho Man? Like Randy Savage wrestler? A
Sumo.
sumo wrestler?
Yeah, she bounced
pretty
right
hot.
off him.
I would do a
Alright.
sumo.
Man, I think they're very loyal and take care of their women. I think they get a lot of ladies though
They can't
too.
go too
So
far.
I don't know. You know, it's like maybe they're a happy medium.
You
of
probably
guy.
get a wide variety in the diet too.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of.
Well, they're not. I don't think
Different
they're
stuff in
eating
there.
McDonald's. So
Nah.
they're that heavy on healthy food. How do you do that? A lot of fats, a lot of meat, a lot of
A
meat.
lot of meat.
hmm Well, so this dude doesn't even like offer her a handout to help her up. She has to get up on her own.
No, she just spilled coffee all over him.
And then she says to him that she's sorry she ran into him. And the first thing he asks is how old she is. How old are you? Like, are you? I mean, I guess he's like going to ask if her parents are around here somewhere, but I feel like she's a
he's
grown
already
woman.
sus right now. I don't
Yeah.
trust him.
So she says, "I'm 24, you know, but usually I'm very competent." Then he goes, "How long have you been here?" Like 20 questions right off the bat. I would be so.
How old are you? How long have you been here? What is your mom's name? What's your social security number? Can I move in with you? Like, what's going on, dude?
Oh my God. Yeah. So,
You co-sign on this loan for
I
me?
know, right? Like she tried to bamboozle him, but yet plot twist. Run me your money. Run me your pockets.
it's so ridiculous. Yeah. So anyway, this is what we have to begin with. So, then they start talking about the boss of the building. And I think what you find out is that this boss is kind of, a mystery. You never see the owner of the company. He's always supposed to be in some foreign land. That comes up later, but I don't know if I underlined it as a very important part. Let's see. They're talking about whether or not he works in the building, and he says fascinating. He sounds like a figment of someone's imagination, doesn't he? She studied him for an instant. He didn't look like a man who knew how to smile. He was big, huge, in fact. He was tall and streamlined for a big man, very commanding, with a broad face and deep-set dark eyes. His hair was straight.
Just built like a house.
His hair was straight and thick and jet black, and his wrists had a feathering of dark hair, too. What?
Damn.
She felt that he probably. I feel like he looks like Jason, like from the movie.
Friday the 13th?
Like he's in a mechanic's outfit.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh, yeah.
this big
The
scary
big
guy.
janitor outfit.
Like, it's scary. All right, let's see. So she felt he probably was that way all over, and then wondered at her sudden curiosity. She wasn't at all comfortable with men as a rule. She was rather plain, for all that she had a budding sunny
Surprise,
personality.
another plain girl.
Yeah, and dressed neatly. Men hardly noticed her even now that she had $50 worth of new makeup.
Yeah. Well,
Ooh,
she went through coffee all over
$50.
somebody too. That got you noticed.
So they
Wait,
start.
when was this book written?
We always have to figure
Yeah,
this
because
out.
like a
Always figure it out.
foundation is almost like $50.
How much? Yeah. When? How far did this $50 go back then?
1989.
Oh, that's like maybe $150
dang, she got,
somebody
like, the
kept in.
outfit, shoes, and everything.
Yeah.
She got a tan. She got all kind of stuff with that $50.
It's like a week's worth of pay, isn't it?
Yeah.
$50.
A
80.
week, a month.
Well, and I think she's actually not doing very well at this job. Like, I mean, like she makes enough to pay the bills, but like not enough to
Whatever,
like,
dude. If she has enough to spend $50 on makeup, she's
Yeah,
doing
her
pretty
phone bill
good.
ain't paid. She did not have her priorities together. She might as well just got some drugs.
All right, so they're starting to talk about this big project, this big jet, and why everybody thought it was going to do well, and something went wrong, and no one can figure it out. So people have been
Wait,
whispering.
didn't this just happen in real life with a rocket?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
The rocket that they just launched.
Yeah, it blew up, didn't
Yeah, it did.
it? Uh-oh.
So I guess this was totally
I
appropriate.
hope this book isn't following the same game plan.
I hope
I hope
not.
I hope there's not a jet that explodes.
Well, so there is a rival company named Peters Aviation.
Oh, that's not gonna fly very well.
They were the competition.
That should be the tagline.
Oh, good one. They were the competition and were trying to outmaneuver McFaber by producing the new design on their own small jet first. And then he says to her, "Hadn't you better get to work?" She flushed a little. He sounded full of authority somehow.
Because he was fucking 7 feet tall.
Exactly.
Probably he was married and had children. He was old enough. How old, she wondered, glancing at him as she picked up her purse and coffee cup. Middle or late 30s, definitely. He had few gray hairs, and there were lines on his face.
Oh, god damn. Looks like a grandpa. He's all 30 years old.
Deep set lines. He
No
was
wonder
cut
that
in
man was
prison.
like, how old are you? You look way too young. Like, people
Get
your
outta
age are
here,
at least
kiddo.
50.
Yeah, so
You look like one of my granddaughter's friends.
I know, right?
what he yeah. So she stared at him. He was pretty dishy, big and capable looking, and he had made her feel
Capable
different.
of what? Everybody always describes him as capable, but like,
You could pick up a log. I'm
okay,
impressed.
I am very impressed.
If you can take an axe to a log and make firewood, I'm impressed. I have weak little T-Rex arms. So.
Not T-Rex. That's what I was going to say.
So yeah, don't rely on me for keeping you warm at night unless we're talking body heat. That's all I
pretty
got.
good. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's like, oh, sorry, I can't make a fire, but I can help you. All right, so let's see. Almost reckless. Imagine her talking to a man like that and being bold enough to ask his name. She had so little luck in
Wow.
attracting men. Maybe it was the glasses. If she hadn't been so nearsighted without them, she might have put them back in her purse and risked talking to hat racks and potted plants.
She thinks it's bold to ask somebody their name.
She's blind AF.
I already asked like a bunch of questions already.
Yeah. Well,
But your name.
so she goes into her boss's office, Arnold M. Blake. And she sits down hoping that he didn't see her. But she calls the janitorial office, asks them if they can clean up the mess.
Who was that giant gentleman downstairs?
He must be with you.
The really old 30-year-old.
So she tries to make an excuse to them after they come out saying, we know it was you. And they're saying, you know, last time it was this time it's this. And she's like, it's my karma, you see. I must have been an axe murderer in a previous life. I felt like that was a bit of foreshadowing. Maybe
She's gonna murder somebody in this
killer, or there's a killer
Somebody's
in the book.
gonna
Somebody killed the jet. All right, she had to go home. Okay, so tragic backstory.
Okay.
I feel like there's a specific sound we need to have every time somebody has a tragic backstory.
I feel like it should be like a squawking bird.
Hey, you know what? It's funny you say that. That kind of foreshadows something in this book.
See? Over here
Oh
with the
my
assumptions. I'm with
God.
it. Come on.
All right. You're going to have to start making bets on the
Man.
books
That's because I'm over here
What's
into
gonna
old
happen?
30-year-olds. Old grandpa 30-year-olds.
that don't help you up when they
Exactly.
knock you the fuck down. That's
Didn't you
insane.
know my phone bill needed to be paid? It cracks
He
you
didn't know.
up.
You didn't tell him.
Can't
Yeah,
ask
you gotta hand him the
your
bill.
name.
He's not in the mail department.
None of these are the same size, so
Oh, I'm gonna take this one.
All right, I'll take
No, I'm
the.
gonna take this one.
All right, shit, I'll take the pink one. That's our colors anyway. No, I don't know. I have no idea. All right, sorry. Pause for a shot. I so wish we had salt or something.
Come on.
Cheers to
We
everybody.
can do it. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Mm.
yuck.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, you know what? The soda wasn't too terrible as a chaser.
We got waters as chasers. Come on.
I couldn't do it. I did it earlier, and I was like, I gotta try something different. All right, so back to the book.
Okay.
She had to go home for a few days. Oh, she's talking about this because she had given the janitorial staff some goodies because I think they clean up after her a lot.
So now they're all in love and won't leave her alone, like follow her home and shit.
Yeah. So
She's doing this for attention.
I never should have fed those janitors.
Oh, man.
they're like raccoons in their trash can. They're like jingling their keys. Oh. So she's thinking about why she got them from New Orleans. She had to go back home for a few days to approve the sale of her parents' home. It was her last link with the old life. They'd planned to move to Wichita, Kansas with her, but a tragic car wreck just before the move.
Of course,
That's a
that's
lot going
tragic.
on.
She
That's a lot
she
going
killed
on.
them. She killed her
I think
parents.
this is at least the second parents that died in a car wreck in one of our books. I think these ladies have a lot of trauma.
Well, I think this one did it. She's just getting to sell the house, start a new life, all this new fun stuff.
And she can't pay her
$50
phone
worth of
bill.
makeup.
Exactly.
Where'd she get that, huh? And no.
She's a hooker on the weekends.
We're going to find out.
She feels real plain, and that's why she goes and takes off her glasses. She can't see the men, so she doesn't feel as bad about it.
Oof.
Oh.
Oh my god. All right, so here's another. Let's just skip over that. You know enough.
Okay.
That's enough.
Okay.
Let's go to someone else's tragic backstory. Joseph McFaber, it was said, could rage like a wounded bear when he was in a bad temper, but then he was filthy rich and used to getting his own way. He spent most of his life trying to commit suicide and a variety of dangerous hobbies from what Maureen could gather, and left his subordinates in charge of McFaber Aircraft Corporation in his absence. Sorry, guys, I struggled with that one. He was in Rio now, she'd heard. He'd been away for the better part of a year getting over the death of his mother, or so they said. Mrs. McFaber had died in a car wreck in Europe.
Surprise.
Gossip said. And McFaber was still grieving. They said he'd been driving the car, so perhaps he was running away from his conscience. It would be a hard thing for a man to live with.
So he was driving a car, got in an accident, killed his mom.
I guess that's what
A lot of
they
parents
say.
are dying. A lot of people
Yeah.
have their priorities together.
And-
Bills still aren't being
This
paid.
just
And he's
tells
been in
me-
Rio for a year
Exactly.
afterwards. Lots of money,
Maybe
huh?
he died in the car accident too. All right, so this chick goes to lunch after thinking about all these tragic backstories during work while she's
Yes.
taking notes for her boss.
Every time I go to lunch, I think about my tragic backstory. Every time.
Without meaning to, Maureen found herself watching him, so he's in the room with her. He was so big, she wasn't used to particularly masculine men, and she usually didn't stare, but he was a dish, a real dish. All right. She
Potato
sighed.
salad.
Yeah. I want you to remember
what that
that
made me
too.
think of.
Remember the whole food thing in a minute. She sighed just
square
as he
and
looked
lumpy.
up unexpectedly and caught her in the act. He glared at her as if he found her interest infuriating, and she flushed furiously as she quickly turned her eyes back to the window. This was absurd. Probably she'd been working too hard and her mind was disintegrating. She finished the soft drink, put the bottle up, and smiled faintly as she passed the mechanic. She meant the smile as a kind of apology, but his dark eyes only glittered more angrily.
He's just like, yeah, there's so much malice built up
I'm just
over
like,
her.
Wait, what's
It was
what?
like Edward and Bella in the classroom, like this.
Why are you being so tense?
Then he has to leave the classroom like he's gonna shit himself.
Sitting there turning a wrench so hard, people are just amazed at the torque he's putting out. Like,
Anyway.
Jesus, we normally need an impact to do that.
man.
Look at you.
The guy drops his eyes, completely ignores her. She tries to leave for the day. She has car trouble. It's a bad battery situation. She knows what she's doing. He comes out I guess he's parked like right next to her or something.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, fate, right?
He says, "First you spill coffee all over me. Now your car stalls right next to my pickup."
Mm.
Rude.
Why don't you just leave if you want to be an asshole?
He's
Just
keeping game. Like, this girl is annoying.
This isn't kindergarten playground, buddy. Like, you don't have to be mean to like the girl.
yeah, she's 24.
Yeah, she
Mind
already
you,
told
all
you.
of this for a name
Yeah.
and her phone bill.
She's like, "It's all right. I know what to do. Why don't you just crank it?" He asked, eyeing her curiously. He folded his arms across his, gosh darn it, arms across his broad chest. All right. Keep in mind, remember, he's broad.
He's gonna pick the car up, turn it around for her, give her a push start. She's gonna throw
It's
it
a
in a
wind-up
second.
car.
It should be good to go.
He pushes her down a hill. You'll make it.
Just throw it in neutral, girl. You'll be all right.
Oh my god.
Oh man, don't do that. It's not a good idea.
So she ends up telling him that all she has to do is beat on it with a shoe and I can crank it. So please don't let me detain you. And he basically accuses her of trying to get his attention,
Yes.
doing all these things. Like, you came into my place of work. Who was newer? That's what I want to know. Who came first?
We'll find out.
Maureen had an active mental life. In her mind, she could be and do anything, but in real life, she was only a shadow of the person inside her. The inner Maureen could engage in verbal battles and give people the devil, but the outer Maureen, I'm so tired of saying her name already, the one who seemed always to blend into the background, was a different proposition. She fumed and muttered, but she was too soft-hearted to argue with people. She walked away from fights.
So there's like duality
And
to
then-
this character.
And then a whole page.
That's a lot of depth they put out there.
Yeah.
lot going on.
Then a whole page of self-pity.
Okay.
Oh, get some more depth. We can skip all that.
She goes home. She puts on jeans and a t-shirt.
Wait, where was she just at?
Remember, car trouble, headed home. She's home now.
Oh, no, okay.
She just had to
She was in
bang
the
it with
parking
the
lot.
shoe.
Oh, okay.
She just
She
had
hit it with
to.
the shoe.
She had to kick
Started.
it in the balls.
For
and
whatever
now it's
reason, I
working.
thought she was wearing sandals. So I
Next
don't
time your
know.
I
car
think
breaks
she's got a
down,
heel.
Yeah.
take your shoe off.
Oh, okay.
Hit it.
Smack
There.
it. Yeah.
And
Whack it with a flip flop.
then turn it on.
Bad thing. All right, so she put on jeans and a t-shirt at home, gets ready to cook herself a hamburger. On the way out, she almost tripped over Bagwell, who'd let himself out of his cage and was having a ball with her measuring spoons. Does anybody want to take guesses before I tell you what
I
Bagwell is?
think he's a mongoose.
I was thinking a lizard, but like,
Probably
what
a
was the
cat.
I
question
want
again?
to take my shoes
I
off.
think he's probably a cat.
The question is, who do you think Bagwell is? She almost tripped over him, and he was having a ball playing with her measuring spoons.
Yeah, I'm going with the lizard.
Okay, and you said
I was thinking
mongoose.
like a cat or a
What's them
ferret,
flying
yeah.
squirrels?
Oh,
Flying squirrels.
Flying
Oh,
squirrel.
I thought it had another name.
Yeah, it does. What is it?
I don't know.
Our cousin's getting one for her kid.
No, that's dumb. Don't do that.
You're gonna be
What do
taking
you
care of
feed
it.
Like corn?
Carrots? I don't
don't
know.
know.
Oh man, the thing gonna die, y'all. Check on the baby's animal.
They haven't gotten it yet. Sugar glider.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's what
No,
it is.
don't-
It's a
don't
sugar
do that.
glider.
Oh.
But they're so cute. But anyway, you're both wrong. And I told you to remember something. I told you to remember something. It's a bird. It's a parrot. It's a squawking parrot.
Dang, and I hate birds. I'm afraid of them.
He's in this whole story.
Oh man, burn the book.
He's basically her boyfriend. All right. It's a big green
It's gonna
Amazon
be one of those
parrot.
kind.
First, she calls it a big green Amazon parrot, but then later at some point, she also calls it something else, like it's got a more technical name or whatever. Anyway, he tells her that she's a bad girl. Bad girl, Bagwell muttered, running along his perch with the spoons in his beak.
Damn bird. Oh, I'm so upset right now. Hate birds.
All right, so there was a commotion out front, followed by yelling voices giving instructions. The last occupant that had been next to her was a hard rock fan, but now she was wondering who'd take his place. So she was worried, that they weren't gonna like her bird yapping and talking and stuff, and would call her in on it or whatever. But anyway, what ends up pulling up is a red rust-colored pickup truck.
Mm.
Oh no. He followed her home.
So who's following who?
I was just trying to make sure that your car made it after being an asshole to you all day.
Exactly.
Do you want to have sex?
That's what I'm just like, just exchange names. Damn.
So she's like, you know, she was peeking out the window and all this shit or whatever. And then she goes to make it an early night, stretching lazily as she put on the long men's pajama jacket that was all she wore to bed. It had been on sale at a department store and looked loose and comfortable. She didn't like frilly, lacy things that scratched, and she never could find a pair of women's pajamas that felt right. This is the backstory as we get to know about every one of her likes, dislikes, you know, if she's regular or not.
Oh, jeez. Too personal, but I appreciate.
Yeah. Anyway, so at once she's thinking about her parents again, how they teased her about who.
The one she murdered.
Right before she killed them.
What man it belonged
Murderer. We didn't
to.
forget about that.
She was giggling. She cut her brake lines.
Keeping notes, Cynthia.
So it says her parents had known that she was far too fastidious for love affairs. She was an unawakened 24, a plain girl who didn't appeal to most men.
Oh, even your parents thought that?
Yeah.
Even with
Damn.
your $50 makeup?
Priceline presents Go to Your Happy Price. What's up? It's Kaylee Cuoco. When it comes to travel, we all have a happy place. You can see yourself already there. It's beautiful. It might be sunny and sandy for some, neon and urban for others, deserts or rainforests or hiking trails. With Priceline, you can get to your happy place for a happy price with deals you really can't find anywhere else. Like up to 60% off select hotels to Costa Rica or 5-star hotels for 2-star prices in Cabo. Go to Priceline.com and travel to your happy place for a happy price. All right, see ya. I'm off to Miami. No, actually, wow, look at that. No, I'm going to Hawaii now. Ooh, Cancun looks nice. You know what? Belize looks pretty nice this time of year. Or, Palm Springs.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
This episode is brought to you by Caesar Gourmet Food for Dogs. Your dog deserves the best, so give them what they've always wanted. Real food for dogs. Caesar Wholesome Bowls are made with real chicken or beef as the first ingredient, and fresh vegetables. Crafted with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives, Caesar Wholesome Bowls are great as a full meal, topper, or snack for your best friend. Pick up Caesar Wholesome Bowls in the wet dog food aisle at any major retailer near you. Caesar, love them back.
And then she's listening to the next door neighbor bump things around and move things around.
Is he moving?
She's
or-
listening against the wall because, you
Yeah.
know, in duplex, she's in a duplex. So, you know, in duplexes, you can hear them.
Yeah.
And your bedroom is their bedroom. Your
She's
bathroom is
lonely.
their bathroom.
So they
when
can
you're
sit there and
showering and you know
slam into the mattress,
you hear
huh?
them flush the toilet. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to
Oh.
have I used to have a neighbor that was upstairs, and every time they took a piss, I could hear it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that sucks. So anyway, we're on to chapter 2.
2.
All right. Maureen hated her own cowardice the next morning, but she peeked around the corner before she went out her door. The last thing she wanted was a confrontation with her new neighbor, even if she did probably have to see him at work. And I don't know why, but at the point that I was reading this, I just thought about that movie Joyride. Like I was getting like those kind of vibes, like
Movies.
being creeped out about
Yeah.
whoever's next door to you and hearing them through the wall and not knowing what's going on. All right, so more work drama. The plane should have flown perfectly, so now everybody was getting to think that it was sabotage. They had enemies. Peter's Aviation, we've already talked about that. So now we know that these books still continually repeat information that we don't need to remember. Well, I mean, I guess we need to remember it. I haven't read the whole book yet. All right. So she gets to talking to one of the other girls in the office, like the office manager or something like that, and asking her if she'd ever seen her boss. And they talk about,
Have you ever seen your boss?
dude,
Like,
she's like only once.
dude, yeah, cat's away. Why aren't y'all playing, dude?
Well, yeah,
Just
because
out of
they have
control.
lower bosses, bigger bosses, lower bosses. So there was a picture, but it didn't come over with the stuff from the old building. God knows why. So anyway, people don't really know much about this guy, but they're talking about him quite a bit.
Whatever, man. You sign my check. Tell me what to do. Leave me alone. We're all good.
Exactly.
I don't
Trying
care.
to get in and get out.
Yep.
So they keep calling the kitchen or the lunchroom the canteen. So I can't. I don't get it. I feel like it's
that's like a
weird.
workplace culture thing. That's them trying to jazz it up.
This sounds so jazzy. The canteen.
I mean,
Yeah, it's the
New
canteen.
Orleans.
You want to
She's
go down to
from
the
New
canteen for
Orleans.
lunch?
Canteen.
Yeah, it's just their cafeteria.
It's just
It's just a
cafeteria.
break room. It's not even a cafeteria.
It's a
This
one
is a bunch of
table.
vending machines and a microwave. Yeah.
Order.
Well, here's what she wears to work today, if you just wanted to know desperately.
I did. Thank you.
She was wearing a beige suit and a pink blouse with her hair in a neat French twist. At her nape, she looked young and elegant and not too unattractive, she thought.
You know, I was really
I'm looking
concerned about
pretty
her
good
name.
today.
I was like, oh my God, is she gonna look like or is she gonna slay the night?
It's
And she did.
covered.
She looks not that unattractive.
I'm not too shabby.
You walk by her and you're like, that's a solid 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Damn.
You're not too bad. You're almost okay.
Oh my God. Like librarian. She's at the librarian level.
Oh man, some librarians are. I was a
That's
junior
you.
librarian.
All
back in
right.
the day.
Look, yeah. They just want her to let her hair down and take her glasses off. Then they think she's like,
Then they're like, oh, now she's a 3.
She went down.
So she runs into what's his face again. I think that we don't even know his name yet. Yeah. So
He's intentionally keeping that from her.
He's asking her questions again. You work for Blake, don't you? Does it pay pretty good? You don't dress like a penniless secretary.
I'm ready for the plot twist
This
because
is
why does he
insane.
know all her information?
Dang, dude.
Like,
yeah,
he
y'all
is stalking her.
he's
He
seen
went
her
from
3
the
times.
stocky to the stalker.
y'all in the same building. Don't you get paid by the same guy?
So he even insults her again. He
What'd you
They're
says,
cubicle neighbors.
Yeah.
what do you people in quality control do? If you did your job properly, that new jet wouldn't have embarrassed the company on its first test flight.
Oh, no. Shut up, you little wrench turner.
Yeah.
If y'all would have done y'all's fucking job right, it wouldn't have exploded.
Yep. So she says, maybe it was a mechanical problem. You're a mechanic, aren't you?
Maybe
All
you
right.
did it.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, why don't you come into the office and explain yourself?
Exactly.
Why did you blow up our jet?
Whoa.
Yeah. So they go back to talking about the dead battery routine. It's not a routine. She explains that she knows something about
Oh, yeah,
cars.
just hit the rocket with the shoe. It wouldn't have exploded.
Oh my gosh, she just
See?
did a big
Look.
old shoe.
What if it exploded on her?
Wow.
All right. So her
That's not a
uncle.
rocket, it's a jet. I'm sorry.
More backstory. Her
Jet.
uncle was a chief mechanic at an import shop for years.
That
And
doesn't
so
mean
that's-
she's a chief mechanic.
That's why. That's why she says she knows.
Oh, I know.
what
Oh my
to
God.
do.
My
So,
uncle lived 4 hours away from
I got
me.
knee surgery. And like,
Well-
I'm totally like, what the?
The guy doesn't take it seriously either. I guess he wasn't smiling, and his face was like stone.
We are still suspicious why you were here, sir.
All right, so she she goes back home to the bird, the only man who'll ever love her.
No.
And I think
And
she
calls her a
does-
bad girl.
Satan bird.
It's a bad girl, bad girl.
Yeah, she's like she
She
leaves him
had
in the
to
room
teach
with her.
the bird that she's like weird.
But she's lonely.
Yeah,
she
she
just
is.
she just wanted him to be in the corner saying nasty
She like
shit.
dumps the bird seed on
Oh
her.
my
And she's by herself.
This is out of control.
Oh, little nibbles.
What's his name? What's the bird's name?
Bagwell.
Yeah, Bagwell. Eat your dinner, Bagwell.
She's got little markings all over her body.
Yeah, there's
Turns
scratches.
around,
Yeah, there's scratches. People come in, they're like, "What is that?" Those aren't fingernails. They're like the little bird claws.
She can't. That's why she has to cover her nape because
Yeah,
you can't.
animation.
You can't let
I don't
that
need.
show.
What's his name?
Bagwell.
I don't need Bagwell getting arrested for this.
Stop forgetting about Bagwell. Okay, now he calls her pretty girl. He could.
Pretty girl,
Hello.
pretty girl. Come here, bad girl.
Hello. So again, so after
is
the next
crazy.
day of work,
That's the
jeans
bird
and a
saying if he's in the
t-shirt.
mood or not.
Oh my gosh.
She gives him an apple, brews some coffee, makes a bologna and mustard sandwich.
Girl.
And I love this girl so much because then she also, and I love bologna, and she also
Not eating bologna.
yes, fuck yeah, white bread and bologna.
Kendra, when she eats bologna, it goes straight to her tits.
It really does.
Oh, I'm gonna go buy me some bologna.
You should try it. It really does.
High sodium, heart attack.
Yeah, but it's worth
100%
it.
goes to the tits.
It's worth it.
Okay, I'm gonna go eat bologna.
If you got a guy that likes that, yeah. Because, see, I would want smaller ones. And when I got the smaller ones, he kept sliding bologna in the...
Yeah, I start buying bologna. She'd
Oh,
eat it.
man,
Boom.
I'm going to be like, you know how they tell you to put, like, onion on your feet? I'm going to put bologna underneath. I'm going to be sleeping with
I just want it to
tonight.
soak into my skin.
Ants going to be all over me.
Well, maybe, and then you could get Bagwell to help you with that.
My little markings all over my body. I've been initiated. I hate birds. Fuck
It's
Bagwell.
gonna be
I
a
hope he
nightmare.
dies some point in the freaking book.
Nightmare.
He's going to end up...
Have night terrors.
You're gonna think it's a sexy dream, and all of a sudden it's a bird. And you're gonna be like, ah!
She's going to get killed, and Bagwell's going to inherit everything at the end.
no.
He's going to
Oh, my
fly
God.
away
Oh,
and
no.
billionaire.
I'm gonna hunt this
Bagwell
planet
is
until
the
it
one that
burns.
hoodwinked
Yeah,
everybody.
Bagwell's going to be the bad
Plot
guy.
twist.
So anyway, this is just so you know, this is back with VCRs because she puts a sci-fi movie in with in the VCR.
This is the 80s. The VCR was like the shit back then.
Hell yeah. So,
It was like, man, she just spent like $400 on that.
I was like, okay, but she still don't have money for her phone bill. Like, what's going on?
She spent it on a copy of the Terminator on VHS.
hell
dude.
yeah.
It cost her $65.
If she just saw herself as sexy, she'd probably bag a guy. She's cool. She wants to be normal. You don't need to be normal. Don't be normal.
Don't be normal.
Just be yourself.
Just for yourself.
Yeah. There are people who
She's
love
like, well, when I do, I let
glasses.
my bird eat off of me.
Oh.
Oh.
Don't you?
Need glasses?
No.
Oh, gosh.
What did you say?
Love them. Love
them.
girls with glasses on.
I've known to, yeah.
Okay.
So Kendra's looking gorgeous in her.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm blushing.
You're so pretty.
I'm pretty sure I'm contractually like
He even
restricted on things I can say to you, so I have to watch myself.
He even know y'all are getting married.
Oh yeah, we are getting married.
It's
Husband, we talked
okay.
about this.
Shit,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can erase some of those lines. They can blur a little. But yeah, I know he even said earlier that you look so stylish. Too.
I
Oh,
did.
look at me.
You're all walking to your car. You're like, I gotta put my stuff back in my car. I was like, man, look at her. She's so fashionable, so stylish.
I know, you're so cool.
I'm over here being another dog. That's great. You can't tell me nothing tomorrow. I'm going around. I'm cute.
Yes, yes. You should know that. You should just know that.
I'm like the girl in the book.
Yeah.
No,
we
she's all plain and
Well,
boring.
we all think that. Like, I was having that day today, and Kendra was having to, like, try to motivate me. And she was like, you just need to know you're pretty. So I went home and I freshened up, and I was like, I'm pretty.
Okay. I see.
Right. But yeah, I
was
was
pretty.
feeling, I was like, oh. But we just feel that way because we can't see our own faces all the time. You just have to imagine what you look like,
Exactly.
dude.
And then you got a booger in your nose.
I'm always like, I'm like going around the corner. What's in my teeth?
Yeah, I can't smile. I had a sandwich.
Oh,
A
man.
bologna sandwich.
I'm getting that bologna tonight.
Does it make the dick thick?
I
Do
don't
you
know.
ever eat the bologna?
Do I not have a thick?
No, you do. Have you?
Oh.
But I'm just wondering, like, do you just feed that to me? He's just like, just me. I'm the only one getting it.
Oh, yeah. Because
I
it's
roll
like
it up,
soy,
and I put-
I don't know.
I put bologna and then I roll it in bologna and I just feed it to her. She'll be in bed and I'll just be like, here, have this.
Got a little.
I'm asleep.
She
Pull
wakes
out
up.
your
Yeah.
drawer. It's a crisper full of bologna.
He grinds it up, puts it in the meatloaf. Eat this.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Damn. That's what he
I did
did
make
tonight.
meatloaf today.
All right. Well, so back
It
to
did
the
not have
story.
bologna in
Okay, yeah.
As
Oh,
far
yeah.
as we know, I'm going to be hoodwinked. All right, so let's see. She's back at home. His pickup truck stayed in the driveway all day, but she hadn't heard any sounds coming from his apartment. And about dark, she heard a car pull up next door. Peeking out through the curtains, she watched a Mercedes convertible let out the big, dark man just before it backed out into the road and took off. He wasn't dressed like a mechanic. He was wearing what looked like a very expensive light tan suit, and a shirt under it almost had to be silk.
Oh.
Could he possibly be the saboteur?
Saboteur.
The saboteur? She felt a surge of excitement as she considered her next move.
Oh,
She
I've got
could
him.
be-
Now he's definitely done
What's
it now.
going to be wrong? Is our toe going to be broke?
She could be Maureen Harris, secret agent. She giggled.
Not a secret
If only
agent.
she had a trench coat. She drifted off into a very satisfying fantasy.
Okay.
I'm not going to
Okay,
tell you.
Maureen, we behind you.
Anyway, next day,
Oh.
she found out that his name was Jake Edwards and that he was from Arkansas. She
Oh.
felt guilty because of her
Wah, wah.
She felt guilty because of her snooping, even though she felt a sense of accomplishment that she'd found out so much.
That his name and where he's from.
Yeah, like you can find.
And you could have asked him.
I know his
all the
license
times.
plate number.
Oh man, that's probably she.
I know his address. She did so much snooping.
Aren't they co-workers?
Yeah.
But in the
His
80s
mail got delivered to her. That's all she knows.
Man, she's going to jail.
That's what it
Snooping in the 80s probably was a lot harder than it is now.
No, easier.
You think so?
I think
Well,
so.
I think getting caught. It was like harder to get caught.
It was harder to get caught, but being able to just look
Yeah.
up information on the internet is
You go
revolutionized
to a
snooping.
library, stiffle.
Yeah,
But
dude.
people have
Shuffle.
patience; they'll just follow you, and you
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
even
see,
know because you're
that's
not
what you
using
do.
your
He moved
windows.
in
You
next
don't have
door.
no backup camera. You don't know. You're
Everybody's
just
driving a Cutlass Supreme
Yeah.
or a Crown Vic, and you're like, just drives right
Yeah,
behind.
got my
Everybody's the
Buick,
same.
and
Yeah,
just driving.
you would not know who's
you
following you.
wouldn't
Every
know.
car was one of three colors.
Okay,
Dang.
so 2 weeks goes by, right? That they're living together, working together, living together, not talking or whatever. She starts looking at him again, talking about how giant he is.
She's like, Deborah, come here. Come here, look. You see that guy over there in maintenance? Look at him.
He's huge.
Do you see how fucking big that is?
That's
Like
what it
yes,
is.
we all see him.
It's ginormous.
We all see him.
He had the kind of physique that must have required some careful eating. He was enormous, but most of him seemed to be muscle. He had a broad face, almost leonine in look, with dark, large eyes under a jutting brow. He looks like a caveman.
I was like, that's what it sounds like, a caveman.
Like a giant Fred Flintstone.
What is she into?
His eyebrows were bushy, but they
Caveman.
suited him.
Like,
Like
what's
his
going on?
look, listen, yeah, because his eyebrows were bushy, but they suited him. Like his imposing nose and square chin. He
Yep.
was even good looking in a rough sort of way. He had hands like hams. He had hams like a bologna sandwich. And Maureen thought that she wouldn't have liked to run afoul of him if she had been another man instead of a woman.
Oh. Well, uh-oh.
She's just saying she didn't want to fight him if she'd been a dude. Like she wouldn't want to get into that brawl with him.
Oh, well, she just need to say that because that's not what that translates to.
So the dude comes up to her and is like, have you gone into hibernation? You know, I know that you've been avoiding me and your yellow heart is hard to miss. And she's like blushing, and he asks her whether she about her live-in lover, Bagwell.
Yeah. I always hear that
okay.
bird scratching you up in the middle of the night.
Man. When are the police gonna get involved?
here's-
Everybody's stalking everybody. The bird's doing some stuff on the side. I'm just, come on. Let's just,
The bird is like an international jewel thief.
yeah. He's on some. I don't trust the bird.
Well, and I know his technical name now. He's a yellow-naped Amazon. If
Oh,
anybody
nape.
out there is a
Oh.
what is it? An ornithologist or
I have no
an
fucking
Yeah,
idea.
you're going way
If
past.
you're
I'm
horny-
like, you want some intelligent shit right now.
they're-
Go on, Rachel.
They're a horny orny.
Oh,
If you like
hate all
that's
birds.
what she is now.
I don't know any of
That's
these
what
bird
Maureen
jokes.
is. An ornithologist. I'm pretty sure that looks after, like, they study birds.
You
So
might be
then
right. I
If
have
you
no
were a
idea.
horny orny, you're like in the crowd of Maureen who
Oh,
likes
yeah.
to
He
fuck
likes
with
to have the
her
birds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, horny ornies.
Mr.
That's
Yay,
why.
something went over your head.
That doesn't happen often. Mr. Bagwell, could you come over here and come eat your dinner?
Yeah.
He opens the door and she's duct taped her mouth shut. She's positioned in the pillow, hands behind her, ass up with birdseed dripping
Oh
down.
my God.
I don't know, man.
So they talk about her age again, and he lets out his age. So she's 24, he's 37. Just if anybody wanted to put
I
that.
thought like 6 years went by.
Yeah.
Like,
No, just
okay.
2 weeks. 2
Okay.
weeks. 2 weeks. All right. And so he frowned.
I've
Her
seen you working
attitude,
almost a decade.
her attitude irritated him. It had flattered him a little at first to think that she'd been interested in him. But he was suspicious of her. She wasn't much to look at, but she had a figure that was disturbing.
Look at my
Listen,
disturbing
Let me
figure.
say this sentence again. She wasn't much to look at, but she had a figure that was disturbing.
so she ugly
What?
and she built bad.
all
But
all
where's
elbows.
the butt? The butt doesn't make sense. It's insult and insult, not like insult and
Oh, I
but
thought
she
she
looks
was
all
like-
right.
It should be an
Lady or
and. Is
something.
that what
I
you're
didn't know
saying?
that.
Yeah, yeah. It should be like, she looks like shit, and she looks like shit. Like, that's what she looks worse, and
If
she
you're not
looks even worse.
interested, just say that.
Yeah, he's ugh. Anyway, they go back and forth about whether or not she's chasing
Do you
him.
think
and
these writers do this to all these female leads because maybe They
ugly.
are fucking fives.
What do you look like,
Yeah,
Diana
I want to
Palmer?
see
Exactly.
pictures of these
There's
authors.
no picture in the book. You know how authors put their picture in the book? I don't see anything. We're going to look her up.
We're gonna
Some
have
of
to
these
look her
ladies
up.
are still out there.
Yeah.
What's up, Diana Palmer?
She was jealous.
If you're pretty, prove it.
Mm.
All right.
Pretty pods on the floor.
Send nudes. Not now, like when you were young.
Yeah, show us the vintage.
In 84.
Yeah. Not you being 84. That's burn my eyeballs.
So she's all down in the ground gardening, and he tells her, "You'll ruin your hands that way. Why don't you wear gloves?" Blah, 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 blah. He smelled of expensive cologne, and he looked pretty expensive in moccasin leather boots, charcoal gray denim slacks, and a designer knit shirt that was a few shades lighter than his trousers.
Moccasin boots.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
to the shin.
I guess. Like, I don't know. I
With
don't
the
know.
fringe on the side.
These are knee boots.
Boots with the fringe.
He's got his knee
He's
boots
twerking.
on. Oh, no. This character is all over the place. I'm lost.
I don't know what to think of this guy. And then he shrugs, pulls a cigarette out of his pocket. He lit it with steady fingers and repocketed his gold-plated lighter. I thought I needed a day off. He looked down at her curiously, taking in the smudges of dirt and the condition of her hands. You'll tear your nails. Why don't you wear gloves? So romantic, so smooth.
Is this the weekend or the
Yeah,
weekday?
the weekend.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
because
I
they're
was
living
just
next to
like,
each
why
other.
are you wearing moccasins in the workplace?
So she goes inside. She realizes she's left the bird alone. He comes inside. Because she like runs in or whatever, but he like comes up to the door and sees the bird and says hi to the bird or whatever. And she says that
Bad girl.
he says she loves it. Hold on.
You're gonna have to get used to him. I really love this
No,
bird.
man.
This is my
He's
husband.
gonna kill the bird.
So Maureen says about the bird that he loves men. I think he's a she. So
They're killing the men and eating them.
Oh no.
all right. So this dude sits down in the chair. She offers him coffee
So
or whatever.
Bagwell's a girl?
She thinks she doesn't know. She
She
doesn't.
doesn't-
How don't you know you've been having a bird? You teaching
Well,
it to say nasty stuff?
yeah, but you don't know about a bird. They don't have anything that shows. You have to know how to sex a bird. She probably doesn't.
Why?
I think the parents gave it to her as a gift, like a college gift. Like here, fuck
Don't
off.
the male birds look different than the female birds in most of them?
Yeah, but they don't have like internet.
Oh, yeah. it's
So
the
maybe
89
she
look.
never-
We're getting too deep on this bird, so we just gotta move on. I'm just like, wait a minute.
I'm surprised they even
We
knew that
wanna
what kind of
see-
bird it was in the
They
80s.
had those books.
Yeah,
and
we
they was
wanna
out
see
there
what
making
his,
them
like-
noises. Cuckoo.
He's got a dating profile. We can look him up later.
Okay.
So this dude leans back in the chair, drawing her attention involuntarily to the breadth of his chest and the muscular strength of his arms. Where the knit shirt was open at the throat, a mass of black hair was visible, hinting at a veritable forest of it beneath it. She felt herself going warm all over. He was a sensual man.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, you got me too. I
I
just
know,
got
I
the
know.
chills.
Ooh, my wrist started hurting.
Just
Mm-hmm.
all that.
Yeah.
All that bear hair.
All that that mat of hair in
Just
there.
there with his
It
moccasins
looks like he
on.
needs to comb it. It's just one patch. He just has a circle right here, and that's all that shows.
Oh, I can braid
in
it.
the V-neck.
Rolls over. It's like a quarter. And a cigarette butt.
It's a fake one. You know, you got the fake mustache.
Oh,
He just
man.
glues it on every day like lashes. Like
Nasty. He needs
instead
to
of doing
wash
his
it.
nails. He doesn't wear it too long. Maybe he doesn't wear it to work. Maybe he only wears it on the weekends.
That's horrible.
When he wants to look like an Italian lover or something.
Oh.
He's like an Italian lurch. Like,
Just
Yeah.
dead-eyed. Hands don't swing.
yeah.
Monotone.
Oh,
That's how he
man.
sounds. Have to listen to the podcast now that you've been on it.
Yeah, but I want the real
Mr.
thing.
Bagworth kicks in your door.
Bagwell.
Bagwell kicks in your door, waddles up to your bed, flutters up to the post.
He got his
I'm
name when he
gonna
was
kill
born.
that bird. I hate birds. So I'm gonna have night terrors now.
He pulls down his pants, unleashing a
bird.
9-inch.
Oh,
I feel like I
God
need to
dang.
go get a
We
bird
don't
for
even know
some.
if it's a girl or a boy.
No.
Pray it's a boy, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
If she's being a weirdo with it, I mean, whatever she's into, I guess it doesn't matter. Whatever.
All right. So if she was watching him, the reverse was also true. He found her frankly attractive.
Just staring at each other out of the blinds
I
of
know,
the
my
house.
eyes got super big. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is intense.
Okay.
I
Hold
know
on.
you're
Wait,
stealing
hold
jet
on.
plans. He's like, I know you're going to undress eventually.
Oh.
It's a setup. It's a setup, run.
The FBI comes charging in.
SWAT, everybody, and we don't know who's getting arrested because everybody.
They both get arrested. They both call in on each
The
other. and then
ATF
take
goes
them
across
both.
the street. The FBI's hitting them. Damn.
All right. But you got to let me do this description. Hold on. Listen. He found her frankly attractive from her long dark hair to her slightly larger than average feet.
Feet.
I couldn't get through
She
it.
got big paws.
Slightly larger than average feet. Okay. She had a grace of a carriage that was rare and a smile that was infectious. It had been a long time since he'd laughed or felt pleasure, but being around her gave him peace. She warmed him. Not only that, but he remembered vividly the glimpse he'd gotten of her not long before in her oversized pajama jacket, long tanned legs, full breasts.
And those huge feet.
That's I'm like, is she attractive? She not. It's like,
I
so
don't
you
know.
look. You're all right, but
Okay.
you make me feel good about myself.
Yeah, I guess.
Wait, but she still hasn't actually. He doesn't know she knows his name, right?
No,
because
he
she
told her.
she
Now they're
figured it out.
talking now.
No, they're
Oh,
talking.
okay.
Well, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
The
I
whole
skipped
interaction with them, I don't remember
It
that.
obviously wasn't important.
It wasn't.
I skipped it. I skipped
The whole
things.
first 6 chapters
make-
was this name.
Yeah, I
and we
make
missed
notes
it.
for a reason. Well, no, I said she'd found out
Yeah,
that his
we got
name
the
was. She
name.
researched it. She
Yes.
found out. I just didn't tell you how. I guess.
All
Or if
right.
he, or if they know, she's probably like, "Hi, Jake." Oh yeah, here she goes. She says, "Do you have a name besides Jake?" Jake Edwards. He said.
Like,
I guess his shirt probably had the name Jake on it too. I guess she didn't notice it because she was
okay.
taken aback by his caveman-like features.
yeah.
You know, she asked him like, "Can you do math? Are you able to read?" The corner said, "Watch out" before you came around it. All right, so long tanned legs, full breasts, her hair down to her waist. He dreamed of her all night, and that surprised him. He hadn't cared very much. He'd like never gotten a hard on. He was like, "What is this?
Why am I getting after this?
This
like,
weirdo."
yeah, this- I can't get over her feet.
Oh man, that's
Somehow.
what turned him on. The feet.
Yeah, there you go. His work became his life. Somehow the challenges replaced tenderness. He'd been too busy pushing himself to be getting with a woman, talking about the Faberjet. He was already suspicious of Blake. She worked for Blake. She could be a link. It's so dramatic.
I was like, it's a lot of drama. They should get married.
He asks
yeah,
her at
there
the
you
end
go.
of this chapter, "Do you have a lover?" Because I saw you wearing that men's
I saw you.
jacket.
I saw you were about a size 11, and I was just having to. I just wanted to know. Do
you
you?
have anybody to feed you hamburgers?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'll
were those
take-
your shoes? Or those your Jordans? Or somebody else's Jordans?
Well, Mr. Bagwell's not gonna like you coming over. He eats the seeds right out of my toes.
Oh no.
So she starts putting herself down. She says she has the personality of a dust ruffle.
Awesome.
Dang, why she's like she's so mean to
Yeah,
herself.
and that she feels like she looks more like somebody's spinster aunt. And she says, "Can't you just see me in silk and satin and lace draped across a king-size bed?" She was laughing, but he wasn't.
No, stop it.
He could picture her that way, and the image was disturbing.
Oh dang! Did he tell her that? He's so
He's
rude.
thinking it.
No offense, but if we do it like that, can you put some ketchup on your feet?
Oh man!
Well, he says, like, "Look, stop putting yourself down. If you don't think highly of yourself, you should ask the janitorial staff what they think."
Yeah,
Oh,
go
okay.
ask the janitor.
Luckily, she doesn't know his
She's
thoughts.
like, but I've been feeding them for fucking
Yeah,
weeks.
well,
Exactly.
that's the deal. She's like, "No, they just like me because of this and that, you know." And he's like, "No, like they think you're pretty or whatever." So
Good.
I got an entourage, and she don't know about it. A fan base. Her little janitors.
Let's see. Where do I want to start? Hold on, I'm skipping the
How
part.
many janitors work there? Like, is it just like
It's
two
a horde
people?
of them.
Is it just like
It's a whole gang of them.
how many trash cans do they gotta pick up? How many
Oh.
people does that take?
It's a corporation, I guess, or something. It's a jet.
It sounds like it's
a
two
jet
corporations
making
and they work
place.
right next to each other, and they're also competitors.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's what
they
it sounds like.
They do some talking, and she ends up coming out and saying that the most romantic thing she's ever done with a man was help change a tire.
Oh.
You know,
She's a
I
very
sympathize
freaky
with
girl.
her because they can get real nasty. They can get real nasty changing tires. I'm just trying to tell you.
All right, right there on the road,
On the
where
road,
everybody can see.
where everybody can see.
We're gonna need a whole episode.
There's
of tell us
rocks.
some of your crazy stories.
There's caterpillars. You know, there's all kinds of stuff out there on the streets.
Oh,
You get lucky,
there's
somebody
a
might have
coyote
threw a dirty
watching
diaper. You know, you just never know.
I don't know about that life because I'm usually the gas station
Get your
bathroom kind of
shots.
chick.
Oh,
It's worse.
oh,
It's
oh.
worse. Yeah, it's much worse. I should be
Yeah.
on the side of the road instead for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. So she says, no man who's seen me will risk taking me out. And he's like, I don't know about that. I wouldn't mind taking you out. And he asks her to a movie.
Somewhere dark.
It's like, wait a minute. It's not dinner. You're going to be in the dark.
We can't show up early, though. We got to be there after the previews. Like, that's when the
so
lights are
really-
off.
He's going during the premiere movies. What is it in the daytime before
matinee.
4? Yeah, that's
They
like
do. They do. Go ahead and keep calling
traveling
it.
people took me to a matinee. I'm mad. I didn't know what that meant till later in life.
Oh my God.
That's even worse than
I
going
can't
in.
believe
Yeah, they're like,
it.
we're going to take you to a matinee. And you're like, oh.
Ooh,
A matinee? But then you're like, these are the
popcorn.
these are the cheap seats.
So they end up talking about the bird again
Damn bird.
after she feels like a bright new penny and shining and stuff. And she's like, he's sort of my best friend. And he's like, that touches me deeply.
The bird or the man?
The man thinks that her saying the bird is her best friend, it touches him deeply.
So they both.
Like
Retarded.
birds. Yeah. So she says she goes and gets dressed. He's thinking about how totally innocent she is, and she doesn't look like a saboteur.
Oh, yeah,
No,
'cause
she looks like a Sasquatch. Evidently, or
a
big
little
old
one.
thing.
A little
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
I'm confused on are they
baby
into each other or not? Like,
that's they're both built like cave people.
Well, listen, and then she goes, I'm ready. Breathless as she stopped just in front of him, almost pretty in her white spike heels.
Almost
oh
pretty.
my gosh.
Right?
White spike
sundress.
heels.
White sundress. Oh, they're going to church. That's I
Oh.
think. Yeah. No, they're going to the movie. Hold on. Sorry. They go to church together later. Sorry.
Is it a churchy movie?
Yeah. Well, no, not too bad. They just kind
I'm
of go
gonna
to church.
take you on this
She
date
just
to
wears
see
all white
Passion
to
of
the
Christ.
church. She just, oh gosh.
White sundress with its modest round neckline and white ribbon in her hair. Despite the glasses, she wasn't bad to look at, and she had great legs.
Girl, get for real. You don't go to no movies.
Then they start, I guess after the movie or whatever, maybe on the way there or whatever, they start talking about, would you have kids? Do you have kids? Oh my God, are you married?
Okay, so they're both weirdos. When are they gonna get married? When a bird gonna kill 'em?
Absolutely by the end of the book.
Chapter 5.
Exactly. Next chapter.
She starts trying to say that she thinks she's a rebel at heart, that she just doesn't have the stomach for the more modern attitude. And he says those attitudes aren't that all that modern. And he says, do what you feel comfortable doing. Don't confuse rebellion with conforming to ideas you don't even like. And
So she's bipolar and he's like a crutch.
yeah, he's an enabler for sure. He's like,
Okay.
if you want to be a rebel, you could start by doing something outrageous.
So when is the
A
wedding?
handy in the
She's
bathroom.
like, such as, we'll think of something.
First thing that pops up.
Y'all been thinking about it since chapter 1.
Let's just go make out in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Hold your hand over my mouth and jerk me off.
Yes, yes. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. He got out and opened her door for her, grimacing when a loose spring on the seat caught her hose and snagged it.
Dang, what kind of car was it?
She
The
got a
rusty
sundress?
truck.
on,
Rusty truck.
and then she got pantyhose under the sundress.
Yeah, it's the 80s.
Now she has a
He
hole in
got
them.
on moccasins. What is this? Though? Summertime? What season is this?
And all of his fancy clothes that were so expensive, his spring popped out of his truck and put a hole in her pantyhose.
Having a truck that's raggedy.
These
But
guys.
somebody in a Mercedes let him out the other night on the weekend. I think he's a gigolo.
I think he's crazy. He's a gigolo.
I think he's a wrestler.
She says
I like that answer.
she tries to tell him like it's okay, I snag a pair a day, but he feels bad because one time when he took a chick out on a date or whatever and that happened, she like
Got tetanus.
verbally assaulted him and made him like buy her, you know, an entire grocery store of pantyhose.
So
or
he
something.
didn't just
Cool.
fucking fix it.
I was
then?
like, clearly it didn't matter.
Aren't
'cause
you
he
a
didn't fix
mechanic?
it.
Fix it.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, I'm not an upholstery guy.
So he likes tricking off his money. That's all.
Well, so he asks her out on a second date, asks if she's ever been bowling, and he said, we'll go next Saturday.
Of course.
He smiled down at her. His big hand touched her cheek very lightly. I haven't been to a movie in a long time, he said. I seem to have spent the past few years trying to work myself to death.
This dude's hand, he could probably hold bowling balls like marbles. He probably hold like 4 of them and just.
So they start talking about work again, and he says that they,
I thought they got fired because I know the weekend don't last this long.
so she says
I have to go to the unemployment office real quick, pick up my check.
Both of y'all.
they talk about why hasn't he already done an investigation on this issue, and he says he thinks he's heard that he's hired a private detective.
Who? The mechanic hired a private detective? For what? The
Now,
bird?
What issue?
that hired the bird?
We trying to keep up with y'all attendance. Y'all ain't clocking in, tell nobody what's going on or nothing. We concerned at this point.
We got missing persons looking at.
But when we find you, we firing y'all.
Yep. You got to go. We're glad you're safe. Get out.
Okay, no. It was so hard to drink my water just now. Okay, where am I now?
Not at work.
No, so this is still the weekend. They're just talking about work.
What
And
kind
then
of
he's
weekend
like-
is this?
They're
gotta be like
"I'll see
Easter, like a
you
4-day
on
or
Monday."
something.
Okay, yeah. This Monday.
I'll see you on
What,
Monday.
Friday,
They did
Saturday,
go to
Sunday,
church.
Monday?
They did go to church together. Okay, so
Oh, good. That's,
Okay.
that's very
starts-
wholesome
she
in a
starts
sex
going-
novel.
All right, well,
Go to
ready?
church.
Hang on,
What
hold
did
on.
they go to church?
Hold on.
This is like
Just
a
now-
passing.
Sorry,
thing.
I didn't.
It just says they went to
I
church.
know, like after the movies, we were gonna go to the bowling alley.
Yeah. We went to
like,
church. Okay, continue.
We had to stop and feed the bird. When did y'all go to church?
We had to.
skipped it.
Oh, okay.
We have read so many religious
All of them.
themed books. I'm so tired, so I just skipped it. They kind of went past it real fast anyway. But that was where she tore the snug. I don't know. Fuck it, I don't know. All right, here we are though. Are you in a flaming rush to get in there? She's trying to get in her house. No. Then why don't you come here and let me kiss you? He
Oh,
asked,
forward, I
surprising
like it.
himself.
Ooh, in the corridor.
Because he hadn't meant to say that. She had a body that delighted him, and he'd been staring on and off at her soft, pretty mouth all night.
So when did they have drinks? Because
Saturday.
earlier she was like,
You're really okay, and I like your feet.
now
Okay.
she's a hot
They spent a whole
Instagram
weekend
mom.
together.
Like, I don't understand.
They spent the whole weekend together going to movies and church, and now he's thinking
They long
she's
4-day weekend because this is a long
hot,
weekend.
she's a hot mama.
Oh,
All right, so
I'm just saying, get it, girl.
We really like matinees.
she'd said she was innocent. He wanted to see if she really was.
Oh, she's gonna cut a hole in the popcorn,
Oh,
stick
my
his dick in
She
it.
felt
Let's
no.
find
They're
out.
at home. They're at home.
Did she take the pantyhose off at least?
They're at home at the door. This is a goodbye kiss.
Okay.
In the middle of the afternoon or something. I don't know. After church.
After the matinee.
It's after
I was
church.
like, I thought we went to the movies, but then we popped out at church.
right.
This is confusing.
So they went to the theater, opened it up, and there was a mass happening.
Okay, so we just do Bible study and then we do church. VeggieTales or what are we watching? Like, I don't understand. Okay, go ahead. Let's hear it.
She felt electric tremors running down her spine. Kiss me, she asked. It's the usual custom, I believe, he murmured, moving closer. He slid a big hand around her waist and pulled her against him. Or did you mean what you said that day, that I was too old for you, he added. His eyes narrowed. I skipped it.
Oh, I was just like,
I'm just leading you up. Now the gaps are filled.
Okay, I understand.
You just hold
now.
on for the ride.
Okay, because I was like, wait a minute. I understand now what's going on.
She
Go.
said, I didn't mean it. I was trying to convince you that I wasn't chasing you. You aren't the type to chase men. I know.
Yeah, because y'all said she was ugly.
Shut up.
She whispered against her lips. His mouth brushed them very gently. In our last recording, we were like, how does a kiss brush your lips? Like, are you like
Oh, wow.
Wish you guys could see this.
she like tries to go after it and hit that like jinx? Like, just kidding.
Just wipe that little drool off your lip. That's mine, but you got it on you.
These are the reasons we need video reels. Oh my God. I'll have to make an Instagram. By the way, follow our social media.
Follow.
Yep. All right.
That was a little
Another
sound effect that would go in there.
We're going to record all of your little sounds and put
Okay.
them in at the right times.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Ringtones coming out.
All right. So he is like, obviously, you don't know how to kiss. I'll just show you.
No, she was brushing.
Ugly. She,
Because
don't
she
know
was
how to
brushing.
kiss.
She was doing like this.
She's 24, so she's never been on a date. Or,
Never been kissed. Yeah. All right.
oh,
so
he's about to take advantage.
he says, I'll teach you what you need to know, Maureen.
What I tell you? What I tell you?
He bit off against her mouth.
That is too advanced.
You're supposed to kiss with your teeth.
Oh my God. The words went through her with a shock of pleasure. She felt his mouth biting gently at hers in slow, brief, provocative movements. His hands slid down to her hips and began to draw her against him and then put her away in a motion that aroused her beyond belief. His experience was evident, and so was her lack of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Told you. I told you.
She says, Jake, give into it, he whispered back. You're
No, I was
safe.
going to ask, why does your mouth taste like roofland?
I won't do anything to hurt you or frighten you. Give me back the kiss, Maureen. Open your mouth a little and lift it
She's
against mine.
struggling.
Damn, Maureen.
Give it back.
She a toddler.
Like, he said, yes, little one, like that. Harder this time.
Yes,
harder.
little one. Ugh.
She felt the fierce crush of his mouth with odd pleasure. He tasted off coffee. He tasted of coffee and smoke, and his lips were devastatingly expert.
I'm scared. And this is too advanced for me.
This is rated MA for mature audiences.
This is for the 40 and up. This is too advanced.
You're trembling, he said quietly. Nobody ever kissed me that way.
Nobody's ever kissed anyone that way.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm really trying to go back and be like, dang, is this
You're supposed to bleed after
freaky?
kissing.
Or
it's
yeah,
normal.
I'm like, do I need to go to the urgent care for this? Is this normal?
I won't take advantage of it, he said, his voice very deep in
He
the
already
stillness.
did.
You please me, he added huskily, brushing his mouth gently over her forehead. You please me very.
He is out of control. He is out of control.
He's like wiping her forehead.
Yeah,
He is out of
brush it.
control.
You just brush it across.
He's just doing some extra
He
stuff.
motorboats her tits.
Yeah, he's doing some extra stuff.
Ugh.
They haven't
Goodbye.
even got in the door.
He knows she's not experienced, so he's
This
just
is
pulling
how it
out all
happens.
that weird stuff. No, he's doing too much.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and she's gonna go to the next person being all weird. Like, she already looked weird, she built weird, she got weird feet, she's a weird person.
But Jake Edwards taught me how to do this. And they're like,
But she's
Jake
fine. And
Edwards.
she's gonna be doing crazy. No,
yeah,
that's
you know
embarrassing.
Jake Edwards has 2 extra chromosomes,
Oh,
right?
man.
Dude's
You know-
fucking stupid.
Just put everybody in the brackets. Like, no.
Yeah. So she she nestled close. I must seem terribly ignorant. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Why are you
Yes.
sorry? Hasn't it occurred to you that innocence can be very exciting?
He,
Nope.
to a
is,
man?
he is out of control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So anyway, have you
old
always?
is he?
She goes, have
50.
you? Have you? she's like, not the few men I ever went out with. They thought I was a hopeless case. Have you always been a mechanic?
Pause.
Wait.
If she went out with other people, are you trying to? Okay. They're both
she
trying to
just
manipulate
never
each
got
other.
that far. She never got
No.
that far. They didn't want to kiss her. They like dropped her off 2 blocks from her house.
She's a liar.
So he asks her, do you cook breakfast or cereal?
I've never cooked cereal
I was
before,
just
but
like, wait a minute. Like
hold on.
oatmeal?
you like your cinnamon toast crunch in the microwave?
I'm thinking over here is something else. And cereal, like the milk. Like you said, Captain Crunch.
I like my Apple Jacks on the stove top, and then
Warm
pour
my
the
milk,
milk.
please, with a little cinnamon.
Yeah.
Extra cinnamon,
Well,
please.
okay. He said, do you cook breakfast or eat cereal? And she says, I make biscuits and eggs and sausages.
That means cook.
usually.
Damn.
Do you cook? And
Does she do the homemade biscuits or is it the pop?
She's like, no, it's all stacked together at McDonald's and they wrap it
Oh,
up.
okay. I had got one.
It's got the biscuit, the eggs, the sausage.
So she comes over he comes over for breakfast. Maybe that was after the movie. I don't fucking know.
How many biscuits does she cook?
Church! Yeah. Okay. I'm done.
All right,
with
it's
this.
just her. How many biscuits does she cook if it's just her?
I don't know.
Yeah, because if you making them from scratch, how many can you make
How
in
many?
one?
Even if you
Because-
do it in a can, does she just take
Exactly.
one out, cook it, and leave the rest of the can?
I know, right?
Like a can of biscuits lasts her a whole week?
I don't know. These are questions I've skipped over. Answers I've skipped. They're not important.
Biscuits
I
are
do-
very
I
important.
think so too. I'm pretty hungry right now.
I want to go eat something.
Okay.
All right.
I
So
want a
anyway,
biscuit.
he comes over for breakfast.
Oh, let's go to Popeyes.
She's like, "Oh, I haven't gotten a robe."
hell yeah.
Ain't
you-
got no chicken left.
He's like, "You have a beautiful
Just
body.
want the biscuits.
It's respectfully covered, and I'm not a lecher." So
Oh.
she's like wearing a muumuu.
And he's like, I'm really glad that you're wearing that.
So what happened to her wanting to do the little sexy thing?
That was just a kiss goodnight.
That was just for the bird.
That was just
Because she
a
thought
show.
I forgot.
Yeah. She was like, "Wait, I have someone at home waiting for me."
Yeah,
Oh.
Mr. Bagwell is looking through the windows. What
Tap
the?
on the
Bad
glass.
was about to fuck some shit up.
What?
This is
Oh,
like
are
a
you
rear
doing?
window type of thing with the bird.
Oh, you about to get messed up by a bird.
So he's like, "There's no need to run from me. I'll never hurt you. I'm not
Oh.
afraid of you."
I'm afraid.
If he said that before,
Weird,
yeah, he's
right?
definitely gonna hurt
That
her.
is.
I won't hurt you.
No, he's probably not.
You already thought of
He's
it.
probably not. He's like, he wants to. He wishes
Yep.
he could.
He
He's
already
not.
thought
He's
about
gonna
it.
bust
He's
in
like,
3
as soon
seconds.
as we get to the point in our relationship where I can choke you, like we're there. All right, so he bent, smiling, and put his hard mouth gently against hers, holding the soft kiss until she relaxed, and he felt her hesitant movement towards him. Heady with her shy submission, he let his big hands move to her waist and gently brought her against him. It was fiercely arousing to feel her breasts against his chest through the thinness of his shirt and her pajama top, to know that she was nude under it.
The ugly pajamas.
Well, the men's pajamas.
Hey, Rachel, you want to hear a secret? I'm naked under my clothes too.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
We're all very
I'm
surprised.
naked under my
This is
pajamas. Like,
I was
scandalous.
just like, oh my god, I'm naked too underneath my clothes.
We all feel
I
very
feel so
awkward.
exposed.
I need to go home and change. I need to put clothes on.
Put a robe on. Come closer. Put your arms around me. I'm not dressed. God, I know. He bit off. His hands flattened on her shoulder blades, pulling so that he could feel her breasts crush softly against his stomach because he was so much taller than she was.
She's looking at his belly button.
His stomach, because he was so okay. The feel of them made him groan. "What?" she whispered. Oh wait, I said that wrong. "What?" she whispered. "Did I do something wrong?" "I think you better put on some clothes."
He's kneeling down in this book right now because he stands up. she'll be at cock level with him.
Oh, you ready to go down? You
Is
don't
he
even have to
into
get
her or
down.
is he not into her?
I don't know. You can't imagine how tempting you look right now. All right, so she moved in the bedroom, closed the door, still tingling from his warm, hungry embrace.
I'm kind of tingling too because I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
She felt giddy and weak and had experienced a new kind of throbbing ache inside her.
Oh, Jesus. She didn't get pregnant already, did she?
Just from the thought of
She's
it.
already pregnant.
he came in his silk moccasin covered
Oh,
pants.
jeez. Not the moccasins that come all the way up.
Oh my god. So we're at the last page.
of the book. We're done. Finally.
I know, it really had everything in it. I mean,
Yeah,
this is everything.
a perfect ending. We don't need to do anymore.
And we
This
still
is
know
the best
nothing.
one. This is the best
I
book
forgot
we've
his
read.
name. That was the whole objective the first
Well,
30
here,
minutes.
this starts it off for you, and
Okay.
I'll remind you. Jake was
Damn,
drinking black coffee at the table, and he smiled at the picture she made. She looked neat and unruffled.
right out of the fucking
Yeah.
picture.
The little, what is it? The
Straight
little
boiling.
canteen thing?
Yeah, they're in their canteen of her home. Drinking black coffee. She looked neat and unruffled, and he wanted to let her hair down and wrinkle that dress. His dark eyes said so. She flushed, smiling at him. Every time they say she flushed, I think she's flushing a toilet while they're talking.
It sounded like she was trash, but I don't know if she's a baddie
I don't
or
know.
what.
So she
I
starts
still have
cooking.
the needle in my arm last night. Jake, can you make me an egg too, Jake?
So she starts cooking. He watched her quick movements with lazy appreciation. Sorry.
I was like, whoa, appreciation and apprehension, completely different.
I'm vibing with the fact that he doesn't like her, but hold on, they're saying he does. Okay. Wondering at the domestic picture she made. He'd never actually watched a woman cook before. It was fascinating. So was she. This is like another world to me, he remarked.
Okay,
suddenly.
so everybody's
got the-
aliens.
She's got Cheerios in the bowl. She's
Pouring
pouring
some
it.
milk. It's chocolate milk. Put some respect
And
on
he's
our
like,
cereal game.
he's like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
This is,
I've never seen anything so
If a
magical.
girl woke up the next morning and made me some Cocoa Pebbles, I would be in love. Yeah, I'd be like, this is marvelous. I've never
Man.
seen anything like this
My
in my
standard
life.
is so low right now. I need to raise it. Dang.
So, I've never felt this relaxed in my life or enjoyed a woman's company so much.
they've made out with each other for 2
Really?
minutes.
Really, you're good for me.
Oh.
I like being with you too, Jake. He felt uncomfortable at the use of his nickname.
Oh, wait, what?
He shifted in the chair. How do you like working for Blake? He asked suddenly.
Oh boy.
I like it very much, but Mr. Blake worries so much. He's been a bundle of nerves this week. Maybe it's the Faber jet problem. It's made us all nervous. She glanced at him. Do you suppose somebody could be trying to sabotage it?
Oh.
Jake?
I knew
Mic
that's how it was going to end.
Do you think you're sabotaging this, Jake? He's like, no. Do you think the guy
He's
who's
a
writing your
mole.
checks?
He's trying to get information.
Maybe.
He's going to kill everybody. The bird is in on it.
He was planted years ago. In the
Years
making.
ago as a little baby bird. KGB. No, I'm serious about this.
Let's look up some articles.
Nah, you don't be looking at stuff on my phone. You have to come right from me. Nah, I
You
say
go to
the
the
Pledge of
library.
Allegiance and all that. I salute the flag. I do all the rules. I ain't messing with the government.
Well, that was it for the first installment of
That was great.
Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked.
I'm hoodwinked because
You're confused, aren't you?
I don't know if she's beautiful. I don't know if she's basic.
She's
I don't know
not.
if
She's right in the middle.
And look, and at the cover of the book, if
She
you want,
looks amazing.
but she's not wearing her glasses.
Okay. Well, maybe we're not wearing our glasses.
And maybe she needs to put her hair up. But it's ridiculous how pretty they made the cover look. And the way they fucking talk about her in the book is so absurd. Like, this chick is off the charts. And the way they're talking about her is like she's a freaking nerd. So,
I'm concerned.
so anyway, if you want to get a look at the book, please check out our social media on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can find us at Bustles and Bangers. Some of our more personal stuff is at Gypsy Danger 317, and hopefully maybe later in OnlyFans. If we can stop being fucking lazy. Oh my God. So anyway, thank y'all so much for listening, and stay tuned for the answer on how these two are going to be hoodwinking each other.